Hey there, students. This is the Unit 6 test review. So we're going to take the review today. Today is the 17th, so tomorrow is November the 18th, Wednesday, and we'll take the Unit 6 test tomorrow. So hopefully by doing this review, you will feel a little bit more prepared to take the test. So there's a front and a back to this. I'm going to do the front, a few problems here on the front, and then we'll work some on the back also. All right, so this first part, it wants us to write a positive or negative integer that represents the situation. So I am going to do two of these. So I'll do the number one and number three. So number one, a submarine is 500 feet below the surface of the ocean. Now, sometimes it's if you can't quite visualize what that is, it's okay to draw a picture. You can come over here and go, you know what? This right here is the ocean surface, and I have a submarine. It's way down here. I'm not the best artist, so don't make fun of me. Whatever that is. So there's your submarine, and it is 500 below. So that is a negative 500. So we have negative 500 as the answer to that one. So though sometimes it's okay to draw those pictures to kind of help you out. I would strongly suggest it if you have a hard time with some of these math problems, draw a picture. It sometimes makes the difference of you being able to do the problem and not. All right, let's do number three. One airplane is 1,100 feet in the air. Another airplane is 2,300 feet in the air. So again, this is a great one to draw a picture on. So I am going to say that this is the ground. And I'm going to use different colors to represent. So we have one airplane that is 2,300 feet in the air. And then we have, there was one before that. We have another one that is 1,100 feet in the air. So which one is higher? Well, the 2,300 one is higher. So again, those pictures that you can draw on these sometimes help you out, especially with the negatives and when you're comparing a negative and a positive. It'll help you out. So the answer to number three was 2,300. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. We're going to use greater than or less than to compare these negative integers. And I would highly suggest that you use a number line. There's one at the front of the class. In Mr. Roberts' class, there are number lines that are on the back of your journals also. So I would suggest that you use a number line for this. So which one is bigger? And I like to think about this as money. So when I'm comparing two integers to one another, like this one, I look at it and go, would I rather owe somebody $17 or $42? Because a negative means that you're below zero, that you owe somebody that. So I like to think of this as, well, I would rather owe somebody $17, and that is greater than. So that's kind of how I look at that. So there's one on whole numbers. Let's do some decimals over here. So again, number 7, would you rather owe somebody $2.20 or $4.15? Well, I'd rather owe somebody the $2.20 than the $4.15. Now, when we get into fractions, sometimes those can be a little bit more difficult, but if you can remember that it's pretty simple to change a fraction into a decimal. So I'm going to do number 10. So that's saying 4 being divided by 5. Well, how many times does 5 go into 40? Well, that's 0.8. So again, we are looking at that decimal compared to 3/10. So 3 being divided by 10, and that would be 0.3. So you can see, would you rather owe somebody 30 cents or 80 cents? Well, I would rather owe somebody 30 cents. So that's the answer to that one. Again, use some of those things that you've learned in the past to help you out, even with this stuff that we're learning now. When we're comparing fractions, you don't have to deal with the fraction if you don't want to. You can deal with it if you want to, but you can also change it into a decimal, and it makes your life a little bit easier. Let's take a look at I'll do number 13. We're going to order these numbers from least to greatest and put them on the number line. So I'm going to look at those 4 numbers right there, and I have to make a decision. Which one is the least number? Well, which one's furthest from 0 on the left-hand side? This guy. So I'm going to call him A, negative 45, and I'm going to cross them off. Then if I go down, keep going to the right, I ran into negative 25. Then I run into negative 15, and then I run into 32. So I can come down here and go negative 45. Where would it be on the line? Way down here. So that's going to be A. B, negative 25 is halfway in between negative 20 and negative 30. So there's B. C, negative 15 is halfway between negative 10 and negative 20. And then we've got 32, which is going to be just barely past 30. So pretty simple to do that. Now 14, you're dealing with some decimals, but you can handle that. Just think about it as money and you'll be fine. And then you got some fractions to do. Again, if you are having a hard time ordering these fractions, turn them into decimals, then order them. It's not a big deal. So some of these are pretty simple on the fractions, like 3/4 and 2.5. Those are benchmark numbers. 2/3, well, think about the whole is 3. So there's 2 of 3, and then there's 1 of 3. 3, negative 3, and 1/3 is, in between negative 3 and negative 4. So think about those ones. And now we are going to plot the ordered pair on this coordinate plane. So again, I'm not going to do all of these, but I'm just going to get you started here. So if we always start in the origin when we're going to plot ordered pairs. So we're looking at negative 2, negative 3, and we're going to go negative 2, then down is negative 3. So we need to make a dot right here, and that is A. Okay. I'll do one more of those for you to kind of get you started, to help you get started here. So on the next one, we're going to start in the origin, and we're going to go negative 1 up 4. And that right there is our B. Okay, so then at the bottom here, it wants you to tell what quadrant they are in. Remember, if you want to label these quadrants, you can do that. This was 1, this one's 2, and we use Roman numerals to show that. But in your explanation, you don't have to write Roman numerals. You can just go, B was in 2. A was in 3. You can do that. Or if you use the Roman numerals, that's fine too. All right. So there's the first side of your practice. Let's move on to the second side. All right, so here's the second side of the review. So we're going to look at these, and I'm going to do a few of them, not all of them, because it's important that you practice this and know and feel confident in yourself before you take the test. So if you can do all the questions on these, you're going to be fine on the test. So let's look at 17. Determine the values of W, X, Y, and Z on the number line below. Okay, well, where's W at? Well, I can see W is right here, and that's above a negative 5. So I'm going to go negative 5. Well, where's X? X is at negative 2. Y is at 0, and Z is at 3. Okay, that was pretty darn simple. But let's take a look at a couple on number 18, because you kind of have to use your number sense here. So not all of you can see all these are listed here. Not all of them are here. So you have to look at this. This is 0. This is going negative, and I know that because that's negative 5 there. So that's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. There's no problem if you want to go on here and go, you know what? I'm going to list those. That's negative 1, negative 2, -3, -4, and -5. And then on the other side, you can also go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I think that's pretty simple, and it's just like the one on the top. Okay, number 19, determine the values of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H on the line below. Okay, so we kind of have to use some, this one's a little bit more challenging, but it's not that bad. So I'm going to do a couple of these for you. Okay, there's 0. What's halfway in between 0 and -50? Well, that would be -25. Whoops, that's not A though, huh? That would be D, -25. Okay, well, let's do A. A is way down at the end, and it is in between -400 and -50. What's the number that's halfway in between -400 and -350? That would be -375. So you kind of have to use your number sense here to determine what those numbers are. And I'm going to be honest with you here. They're not like, you're not going to have like weird odd numbers there. They're going to either end in a 50, a 25, or a 75. So make sure you take a good close look at that and see if you can figure those out. Now on number 20, write the ordered pairs for A through H. So we're kind of doing the opposite of what we did on the other side of this review. So I'll do A for you. How do I get to A? Remember, we always start in the origin and we go over before we go up or down. So we always go over before we go up and down. This way is negative, this way is positive. This way is negative, this way is positive. So just have to keep that in mind. So I'm going to go, to get to A, I'm going to go -9, and I'm going to write that down right now, -9, and then we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's -9 and 8. And what quadrant is this in? If you want to label these quadrants, that might help you out. I would get in the habit of that, at least for this test. So there you go. We can see quite easily that that is quadrant 2. So I think you guys can handle that. That's pretty much like yesterday's assignment, by the way. And then it wants us to reflect the point in the x-axis and the y-axis. So there's really 3 steps to this. And the first step is to graph this point right here. So we're going to go -4 up 2. There's my original point. And I'm going to use different colors to kind of represent this. So you can see that the x-axis is right there. And you can see that the y-axis is right there. And if we want to reflect it in the x-axis, we're going to pretend to fold it on that red line. If I fold that coordinate plane on that red line, where is my blue dot going to end up? It's going to end up right here. It's like looking in a mirror. And that means, how do I get there? Well, I'm going to go -4 and -2. So that's how you do this. You just have to pretend to fold the line. Now let's look at the y. Let's go back to our original point right here. And we're going to fold on this line. And where does my dot end up? It ends up over here, doesn't it? So we're going to make that dot. And then we're going to find out where that is. So to get there, I'm going to go over 4, up 2. So we have 4, 2. Not too bad, right? Okay, I think you can do number 22. And this review, I think if you use your time wisely, you should walk out of here with no homework. If you have any questions, today is the day to ask your teacher to help you out so you can be successful on the test. Good luck, guys. And again, if you need help, ask.